Hey guys, it's Tori from Monogram Moments, and today I'm going to walk you through how to sublimate onto these glitter notebooks that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'll be sure to link them below for this year. I'm going to be using this pencil scallop monogram from my website. So once you get that purchased and downloaded and unzipped and saved, you will then open just a separate window and go ahead and get that all open. And then I'm going to be using a Photoshop today. Now, I'm going to measure the front of the notebook, and it is about 7.5 inches wide by 2.5 inches long. But since I'm dealing with these bigger monograms, whenever I pull them in, I like them to be smaller than the canvas. So I'm going to use this 10 by 10. If you don't have a 10 by 10 over here, you can just go to inches and type in 10 by 10. And then everything else is good and select create. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling in the letters that I'd like. So I just select in the folder and I drag over and drop. Okay, so now I'm using my move tool, and be sure that this button right here is selected because it's just going to make your life way easier. And I'm going to go over to the layers and select the bottom one, then hold shift and select the top so it selects all of them, and I'm going to size this down. You can see in the top right corner the size that it is, and then select OK when I'm happy, though I can adjust these more in a minute. So this monogram is designed to be lined up. Sometimes letters don't look right in the circle, so you can always grab this ellipse tool over here. So I'm holding it down just a little bit so that this whole menu pops up. I'll select ellipse tool. If you hold your shift key so you get a perfect circle, you can draw a circle over this monogram. And now you can kind of see the circle and how the monogram lines up to make sure, because sometimes we like to make the L way up here and it shouldn't be. So this is a good visual for you. Okay, so I'm done with that, so I'm just going to delete that layer. Okay, so I'm happy with how this all looks. So I'm going to select it all again, and I just need to check that width because there's the spirals in the way, so it does need to be a little bit shorter. I probably want my width to be closer to 7 inches. So what I'm going to do now is select my top layer again and hold shift, select my bottom layer, and you can right click and select merge layers so that it all becomes one layer. Okay, so I want to crop this down a little bit just so it's easier to see. So I can come over here to the square marquee tool. And right now it's actually the eclipse marquee, and I want the rectangular one. So I'm going to select the rectangular one. I'm going to drag kind of in line with my monogram. I'm kind of close to my C, so when I let go, I'm just going to use my left arrow button to move that box over a little bit. And when that looks good, I'm just going to go to image and select crop. So that brings this down a little bit more and helps me see what size this actually is that I'm printing. So if I go to image size, it is telling me right now that this box I have is 7.87 inches by 8.3. And I was saying a second ago that I want to change this. And right now you see that these three things are going to be locked, and I don't want the resolution to change. So I'm going to select resample. So now it's just the width and the height. And I think I said I want the width to be 7. And now we're good. So I select OK. So now if I were to go back and I went to image size, you can see that it's now 7 in width, 7.4 in height, which is what I just changed it to. So I am good to print this. You can print this on, which I normally suggest for blanks, print on an inkjet printer or just use black ink and regular paper on your sublimation printer, just as a test print to make sure it's going to fit your blank. But since this is just a rectangle and I know I've got the sizing right, I'm just going to go ahead and print this on my sublimation printer in color and everything as if I'm about to press. So I will go to File, Print, and I've got my Epson selected, and we'll just go in print settings. Right now I've got 8.5 by 11 selected, which I'm so happy with. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and print this. Okay, so the Dollar Tree has these 4 different colors. I'm going to use this gray one for the monogram. And before I press it, I am going to lay it on the heat press like this, and just for a few seconds to get any moisture out. I have my heat press set on 385 degrees because my press runs a little hotter than it says, and I'm going to press for about 50 seconds. So right now I'm just doing a quick press just to get any moisture out, just for, you know, maybe 5 seconds. And I'm being aware of the spiral right here. Okay, and here's the monogram that I printed out. Normally if I were gonna sub this on a shirt, I would rip the sides, but I don't think it's gonna matter much. You're not gonna see much of an indentation on the notebooks, but I'll just do it a little bit. Okay, so this is really hot as soon as it comes out of here. So as soon as it comes out, so that this top part doesn't bow, I'm gonna flip it over and lay something on top of it for it to cool. Okay. Okay, real quick, I'm going to take my heat transfer tape and I'm going to tape it tape it onto the notebook so that it doesn't ghost at all. Okay, so I've got this taped up now, and now I'm going to hang it off the heat press like I did earlier, just like this, and press for 50 seconds. So I've got my butcher paper down, and I'm going to lay this on top of it. And be aware how close you have the design to the edge, and make sure the heat press is going to go all the way to that edge. And then I'm going to put another piece of paper on top of it. Okay, so this has come off the heat press. I let it cool a little bit, flipped over so that the front didn't bow. And now I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And there we go. Super cute. You can see I didn't get as close, not a ton of pressure. You can see where it was close to these. The heat press didn't get as much pressure on the heat press, but overall that turned out super cute. And that is it. So you guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please be sure to let me know. You can put them in the comments below. Be sure to check out my Facebook group where we'll be posting a lot of these pictures, I'm sure, and check out the website. And again, I'll have everything I've used today linked below. And that is it, you guys. Have a good one.